Hello! Today's Cosmic Key collective reading will start with the number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Energetic upgrades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The card that came out. Haha! 555 with cord cutting and Chiron, the wounded healer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow, 5. Okay, so everything that fell out of the deck just now. We've got clarity, writing, projecting, I'm proud of you, interesting. Alright, I like that message. So, 5 represents change, big shifts in one's life. Is there anything else? No? Goodbye. I love when stuff like that happens. Okay, so this collective key is in relationship to the ways in which we've been changing. The themes that I've been noticing in the collective and in my own personal life lately have been pushing us to take notice of the ways in which we have changed and the ways in which our perception of our reality has changed, the ways in which our actual external realities have shifted and changed, and basically having the awareness, the clarity to notice these things and to make space for ourselves to truly feel how incredible that is. So if you have not yet making the space for you to notice the changes in yourself, in your life, in the world around you, in your own little worlds. I don't mean like the gigantic whole of the planet. I mean in your world. How is your world different? Ask yourself the questions, Think about all of the situations that you have gone through recently. Especially the ones that have felt particularly tough and trying, the ones that you know are definitely tests. Whether you feel like you've failed or passed does not matter. Think about it and look at how in that situation you were not the same person that you were even maybe a few months ago. If you were to have experienced something similar to that, the way you perceive it, the way you move through it, the way that you deal with it, the way that you allow yourself to feel, and whether or not you take action through the way that you feel or, anything like that. Take inventory of all the ways in which the now is different from the then. And regardless of where you're at on your healing journey and on your adventure to the discovery of your authentic self and the mastery of yourself, what we are letting go of and walking away from, the cord cutting, the energy that we are letting go of and walking away from or have already is the wounded healer energy. It is the victimhood that we are just victims of our circumstance and victims of the multiverse and victims of all the things that happen in our lives, and that we give away our power to everything and we have no control over anything. Those types of ways of perceiving ourselves, our lives, and everything that happens in the human experience. It's going away, honey. We say we don't even know her no more. She don't go here. Can't sit with us. We say goodbye to that, because the energy of victimhood is disempowered, and what we are striving towards always is self-empowerment, right? So here, with the ending message for this collective key is, you start noticing how different you are, how different your life is. When you start to realize that the stories you told yourself for so long, you don't need to tell yourself those stories anymore. Those stories are unnecessary. In fact, just because we told ourselves stories doesn't mean anything at all. And it's pretty incredible when you sit back and you think about how all of our entire human experience, we had no map, we had no user manual. Nobody taught us how to have the healthiest human experience or be the healthiest versions of ourselves or live with authenticity, because look at the world and the state of things and the way that things are going on in the external world around us, the things that we can't control. How you think it got that way? So when we stop writing the stories that are horror stories and dramas, and we start allowing ourselves to just live as the observer, not the absorber, and we realize that those stories were based on projections from outside of ourselves, energy that never belonged to us, that's how we start learning who we are, what we do and do not want for ourselves, what we desire, what our passions are, who the authentic being underneath all that storytelling is, all of that projection that never belonged to you. The stories others told you that you believed were true, the stories you told yourself that you believed were true. It's the peeling back of all of those layers to find the authentic you. And that authentic you has always been there with you. The beauty of healing, the beauty of growth, the beauty of change is the discovery of who you've been the entire time. That person is not lost. The child inside of you is not lost. They're still right here. They've been here the whole time. So the more we shed, the more we let go, the more that we flow directly towards that authentic self. And those changes that you're making in your life, no matter how small you might convince yourself it is, each one of those things is gigantic. They stack on top of each other, and it starts to snowball into all of this shifting and changing. And before you know it, when you're looking around with that clarity, you're like, holy crow, I did all of that? Look how different I am. Look how different my life is. And the more you make your space for that, the more you can feel proud of who and what you are and the becoming of what you've always been. You don't need to invent something. This is the person, the being that you've always been, without all the stories, without all of the crud that never belonged to you, without all of the things that drained you, without all of the worry and the fear and the anxiety and the escapism and the dissociation, without all of that to cloud your vision. You look inside of yourself and you're like, that being is awesome, that being is strong, that being is resilient. I've been that person this entire time through every trial and every tribulation, and despite not understanding who and what I was, look at where I am now. That's incredible. I hope you allow yourself to feel that pride in you and in everything you've ever done. Especially the things that you did in an unhealed place. Because you know what? Every single decision you've ever made that hurt you or hurt someone else or destroyed something, self-destructed, whatever it is, those are things that you triumphed over. That there was victory in that. Those things are lessons. They teach you about who you don't want to be. They teach you about who you're not. They teach you about what it is that happens when we don't process our own pain and suffering, and we hand that off to others, or we internalize it so much that every decision we make just continues to hurt us over and over again. And that does not mean that you've ever done anything wrong. It means that you didn't know any better. And that we can wrap up in love. It's important to wrap yourself up in kindness and compassion, grace, understanding, and especially unconditional love. Love has never been conditional. That's another story we were told. And the understanding that love is not with condition, that love can exist alongside healthy boundaries. Love can exist alongside walking away, saying no. And placing boundaries doesn't necessarily mean that you never cared or that you don't care. It means you care a lot. Placing boundaries, holding firm to boundaries is self-love, but it's love for the other as well, because when you say no, when you walk away, when you cut someone out, when you stop an unhealthy habit, all of those things are acts of love. And it is only the projection of someone else's pain that we internalize that tells us we're not allowed to do that, or that when we do those things it's selfish, or that we're never able to change, that nothing can ever change, that we will always be that version of ourselves that does unhealthy things and makes unhealthy decisions. Those are all stories, and they're all projections. The intrusive thoughts, the intrusive, uncomfortable feelings, projections. And a lot of those uncomfortable feelings come from the rejection and the repression of the truth, of the authentic, and of what it is we aren't seeing and aren't looking at, and the parts of us that feel unseen and unheard, and the feelings that we didn't allow ourselves to express or feel consciously because they felt like too much, or they were too overwhelming, or ego popped up and said, oof, I don't want to look at that, I don't want to feel that. Whatever reason it is, those are still all stories, and they're all decisions we've made. And none of that deserves blame or shame. We're always doing the best we can with the tools we have, and whatever we know and understand as the ways we can utilize what we know in order to make our way through situations that we experience. And sometimes the tools and the structures and the ways that we perceive are unhealthy. But that's the whole point in healing and growing and accepting change and implementing new routines and making healthier decisions. You're unwiring the part of you that got conditioned to all of that unhealthy stuff. And it's a process. It takes effort. It takes conscious action. It takes consistency. And each and every one of us has a different relationship to how long that takes. It's okay to feel uncomfortable. It's okay to feel like it's difficult. Most of the most worthwhile things in the human experience feel difficult because they are difficult. It's hard work, but it's worth it because you're worth it. Having a more peaceful, comfortable experience and being able to feel the full range of human emotion and to connect with yourself and connect with the world around you, that's a beautiful gift you're giving to yourself, no matter how long it takes. This is all acts of self-love and self-care, even when they don't feel like they are, because it feels difficult and it feels uncomfortable in some way, shape, or form. You're doing it, and I feel so very proud of you. Keep on keeping on, okay? I love you.